how we can revamp Ajaokuta steel mill and bring it back to our life, to bring it back alive by injecting additional 401 billion naira, which this committee is thinking towards approving for the ministry so that Ajaokuta can be back again.
I'm the senator from Kogi Central, and there is nothing I would want more, considering even my campaign promises to work with the president, whoever it were at that point, to ensure that Ajaokuta Steel Company works. I sat with you when we interfaced with the minister and the agencies. And to the very best of my knowledge, we agreed to approve only the 22 billion. That we were going to sit and review whether it was necessary to consider to expand their envelope of 401 billion. I recall putting it to the minister that in view of the bilateral agreement that was signed in Russia in October 2019, 1.45 billion is lying to be assessed in Afrexim Bank. And if we're actually honest, if we're not trying to play games, if we're not trying to enrich ourselves the way people have done that, ever since its inception, over $10 billion have enriched people's pockets. If we're actually honest, then the Ministry of Steel, with Ajaokuta Steel Company, the management, everyone should just follow the guidelines and access that money. 1.45 billion is lying there since 2019. Why is it so difficult for us to access that money? And that was what I remember speaking to you about, that we would approve the 22 billion, but we would advise them to put their papers together, put their technical team together, conduct all the evaluation that the project needs, and access the funds.
Who is providing the fund?
Afrexim Bank, 1.41 billion from Afrexim, $450 million from Russia. That was that very day both presidents met. So in total, we have 1.45 billion dollars in Afrexim Bank, but they did specify some criteria. You know, as usual, to access it, you need to provide this. Basically, they want to ensure seriousness from our part so that we do not access the funds and embezzle again as usual. So that's why they put some criteria, and it's very easy, sir.
So why are we asking for 401 billion?
It beats me. That was why I'm actually surprised, sir. I think we should be very careful. And moreover, they didn't even explain in details what they actually want to use this money and how they intend to provide a turnaround in repaying these funds. Like I said, I reiterate, I'm from that district. I want Ajaokuta to work, but I want us to be quite transparent in our transactions henceforth and ensure that the management of Ajaokuta Steel Company and the ministry, as well as ourselves in our oversight functions, are very diligent and intentional about every kobo we are going to spend. We want that place to work, but we should do things rightly. Let us ensure that, and let us help them access the funds. If it means calling on Afrexim Bank, having them open to us what the conditions are, seeing how the president can meet again with Putin and probably even ask for greater funds, they can definitely fund so much more. We have countries like Egypt that has accessed 20 billion from the same coffers of Afrexim Bank. So I don't think, if we want, instead of approving the 401 billion, sir, let us ask Ajaokuta to reach Afrexim Bank and get the 1.45 billion.
Thank you.
We need to make some clarifications.
Yeah.
With respect to the additional fund required, I happen to know the minister. Without mentioning words, he is my in-law. And I discussed with him. I discussed with him not from the in-law point of view, but from the point of view of how to move Ajaokuta forward. And he told me that this 401 billion is required for revenue-generating projects. Okay? They have a contract from Federal Ministry of Works, and they also have a contract from Federal Ministry of Defense. They need this fund to reactivate, to activate. They have over 40 lines. To activate some lines that can be used, 48 lines, I think over 40, okay? So 48 or whatever. So now they want to reactivate some of these plants that can be used immediately to produce these items. The contracts are already there. So the money they are talking about is like a self-liquidating type of project. And at the end of the day, there will be a profit and loss account. They will make profit from it. Apart from that, those items which ordinarily should have been imported will not be produced here. After that, the ultimate result of creating employment opportunities for an achieving youth, especially around that axis, will also be achieved. So what we are saying is that we need this loan for immediate turnaround of some of the lines. And
loans or this fund?
This fund. Then let's talk about loan. Talking about loan, each loan has its own terms and conditions.
Yes.
We need to know the terms and conditions of this loan.
Yes.
Yes. But even since, in fact, the distinguished senator from Central, when you even say loan since 2019, it's even more complicated now to take such a loan because of foreign exchange differences. Okay? Naira has so depreciated. So if that loan in 2019 was attractive, today is no longer attractive because of the foreign exchange risk.
This is a company that has been there for over 20 years. And we are doing lip service. Government have invested so much money. Up to today, we are doing lip service about Ajaokuta. Today, we are talking about additional funding for them. We are talking about loan from Afrexim Bank. But I will recall that President Tinubu, when he went to G20 in India, he had a meeting with Jinde Group. And Jinde Group offered $3 billion for Ajaokuta. Now, that particular investment drive of Mr. President has to be followed up. Because it was a public statement that are going to put $3 billion in Ajaokuta, and the company is Jinde, the biggest steel company in India. So that has to be followed up. Now, in following up that, my colleague from Central Kogi now highlighted the issue of Afrexim Bank loan. That is also there. So what I'm saying is that as a Senate committee, we have to make a very strong representation to the executive arm of government about this Ajaokuta steel.
Chair and the vice chair are disagreeing on the figures. And so something seems to be fundamentally wrong. And we are discussing afresh what processes need to be taken. I believe that this is supposed to have been taken all the distance. Then if the committee is here, it's just to give us highlights on what they have done during the screening and then submitting reports to us.
Please, go and settle their differences. What personally I want to say that in as much as the president is so eager to have Ajaokuta back on stage, and the distinguished colleagues Natasha here has said also, but let us not make the previous mistake severally of having government people asking for money just for them to go and embezzle the money, and then because they know in Nigeria you can embezzle money and then you go on bail and nothing will happen. Let them go and borrow the money. If it is a business, they should go and borrow the money, invest it in business. If it is about the timeline, all the companies that are saying that they should give them the contract, they are Nigerian companies. They should wait. Let these people, or let them pay advance now. When you want to produce something, you give advance to the company. So they start production. If they produce 50, if you want 100, you pay them for another 50. Let them be serious.
I have listened to both arguments. For the first time, I'm hearing that you are soliciting for additional 401 billion to be added from heaven.
First of all, when the ministry came, they made their request, and we agreed. You are not listening, and you gave me 1 minute.
I'm with you.
And they made their request, and we agreed. I, for one, said we will approve what have been given to them first. Then we'll revert back to look into what they are asking for, the 400 billion, right? And this let me tell you, the sitting was done in conjunction with the House of Representatives, okay? Now, when they now gave us their talking points, they submitted to us, Mr. Chairman, this is not the way to give somebody 1 minute.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So we called them, they gave us what they call their talking point, they explained their reasons. And now, here, what presented to you is that we have approved what was given to them, the 22.55 billion.
Okay, fine.
And that what we have said is that we make further recommendations for that, for the 400 billion. That is to say, is for you to take it up and they will review whether it's good, possible or not. 1. 2, the issue of the loan you are talking about. Listen, there's a debt that you call stale debt. So the loan may have been a stale loan. That's 1. You come to the Jindal to tell you that we are well informed there. The Jindal company from India, we raised it that day before the ministry. They explained that the Jindal don't want to go into Ajaokuta because they have gotten the history of Ajaokuta involving Russia and involving another company from India. And that what they want is to go for they want to set up their own fresh factory in Nigeria. So we shouldn't be complicating issues, right? We shouldn't mix it up with Jindal. It has nothing to do with this now. They are looking they want to a site to open up a different. But what is more important to us is this. How do we not allow the trillions we sent into Ajaokuta to remain there?
Okay.
Already, before other issues evolved, we are going to now look into it, and we cannot look into those issues now before presenting the budget that has to be passed before that by 31st of December.
Okay.
So we are now talking of necessity.
Okay.
So we now go into the work of see what has transpired in the past, and does not mean that if this is approved, we allow them to swallow it. Okay. No.
I have listened to both parties, and I strongly feel we don't have that money now. The 401 billion is not there. I would be happy to have the 401 billion in place or give you, but the question is, do we have the fund to provide for the engineering work to commence? The answer is no. So I want to implore that let's continue to explore other options that we can use to get this steel back on track, steel mill back on track, because I'm passionate. I can not recollect the number of years I've been hearing about Ajaokuta steel mill. At some point, they were stealing the parts and selling them, vandalizing the whole place. But for me, if you ask me, I would say I am in support of a private public partnership. I will throw it up, and if you can win the day by saying, why not? Why can't we give them the 401? I will not hesitate to do that. But with reasons and justification as to why I should commit such a huge amount of money towards revamping Ajaokuta steel mill, I need to be convinced.